Alright, so this is footage from a while ago when I was playing the Halloween map, and I took a look at myself and I examined what I was doing, and I noticed that here I am, playing as a robot sniper with a shrunken head, a bow and arrow, a bag over my head with a badly drawn portrait of a medic, a shield on my back, me and the entire team stopping from doing an objective to kill a floating green wizard with a bomb book that talks in a Mexican accent. And I was thinking, what game am I playing? What is going on here? And that's why I decided to talk about the absurdities in TF2. This game has come a long way, and it certainly was a lot different from the original vision of TF2. Originally, the TF2 was set in the 50s, and it was supposed to be a realistic game while being somewhat cartoony in graphics and whatnot. And now we have laser guns, we have brightly colored neon Christmas lights on our rocket launchers that are bright orange and shoot rockets that deal no damage and catapult us around. Actually, that doesn't do this. But anyway, the game has gone from a somewhat simplistic style. It had its own style. The weapons were very hand-drawn. They were very basic. If you look at the vanilla weapons, like the scattergun, compared to something of the Ponson, they're very different. So, my point is, current TF2 has undergone a lot of changes. And, in fact, originally TF2 was supposed to be a Call of Duty or Battlefield-style game called Team Fortress 2 Brotherhood of Arms. Now, why I'm talking about this is because the game has gotten a lot more absurd from there. So, how did we get from a Brotherhood of Arms style game, a Call of Duty style game with realistic graphics and shooty guns, to a 9-class cartoony graphics with realistic guns, to this clusterfuck? There's a reason for that. As you see, to add new features to a game, you have to make it different and distinguishable from the other features. And you know, the old TF2 modes were very basic and formulaic. You have the 5 control points, the King of the Hill, CTF. These game modes have similar game modes in every FPS. So to add new game modes, Valve had to get a lot more creative. To add new features to a game, you have to make it different and distinguishable from the other features. This applies to weapons, game modes, maps, and many other parts of games. But to make it too similar to your game, it'll get stale. If you make it undistinguishable, it'll be too confusing to play. Therefore, eventually things will get really, really out of hand. However, I don't think this is a bad thing at all. I love absurdity in games. I love when you can just go into a Mario Kart server and enable 100% crit super jump and jump all over the map and kill people. It's great. However, a game can't survive if that becomes the main game mechanics. You don't want to go on TF2 Mario Kart servers all the time. You do it when it's 2 AM and you're kind of bored. And what I'm getting at here is that absurdity is great in a game if it's controlled, and TF2 does a great job of doing this. The absurd weapons, they haven't become meta, like they haven't become widely used. You don't need to use all the absurd weapons to enjoy the game, nor do you need to play the absurd game modes to enjoy the game. It's not like no one's playing the regular TF2. In fact, most people play the regular TF2. In double fact, TF2 has one of the world's biggest online competitive gaming communities. And playing the game competitively is really fun and available to anyone through TF2 lobbies. But those special times when you could jump into an absurd server and do some absurd things, or play a different game mode that might be a little bit more absurd than what you're used to playing, those times are what makes absurdity in games really good. We can never say for sure whether this trend will continue. While it's true that the new weapons are added, you'll have to account for many new situations. Like, for example, if you turn a corner in a heavy, you have to account for the fact if he's using the default minigun, the Tomislav, cool long heater. It's not a very good example, because miniguns are all the same, but you get what I'm saying. You have to account for a lot of new things, and this may get more absurd as the game goes on. However, I think this is a good thing. It keeps people on their feet, it keeps people thinking about the game, and not just falling into habits and dealing with problems. Anyway, I'll catch you later. This has been slightly less structured TF2 talk, but I hope you enjoyed.